So I get contacted multiple times per week off watch brands asking me to review their watches. Most of the time I say no, because I only have so much time in a week to make these videos, and I want to make sure that the videos I am making are showing you watches that I think are worth your time. So when a watch brand contacts me, I'll usually have a quick look through their catalogue, and pretty quickly you can usually tell whether their watches are trash or they're worth a look. Now the brand that we're featuring today actually sat in the middle. At first I thought it was just another fashion watch brand, but after closer inspection, the materials they use and their designs seem to be high quality and original, at least at first glance. So today we'll be taking a closer look at this unknown watch brand called Maven. They've sent me two different models in for this review. One is somewhat of a field watch design, and the other is very much a rectangular dress piece. So together, let's figure out whether this is just another cheap fashion watch brand, or are they actually making some good watches. The first thing that appealed to me about this watch brand was their designs, as they take a minimalist approach similar to the Bauhaus movement that we see from Germany. However, sometimes these types of designs can be very generic and minimal to save costs rather than trying to be Bauhaus in aesthetic, but their designs certainly caught my eye, and they did over on my Instagram page too. I posted a picture of one of the watches and had a few messages asking what I thought about the watch because they too really liked the design. Another thing that appealed to me was the fairly low price point, with all of their watches costing less than £150. And these watches aren't for sale on AliExpress either. You can only buy them through their official website. So I did a deep search of the internet trying to find out if these were either homage watches or worse, drop shipped watches with a different logo. But after looking for a while, I couldn't find anything. To my knowledge, these are original design watches and not drop shipped or ripping off another brand's design. But the price of the watch being low is only impressive if the quality of the watch is high. So let's first take a look at the field watch model and see if it's any good. So this is the Maven MUS-01 model. I was pleased to see that it comes in two sizes, one with a 40mm case and the other with a 34mm case. I asked them for the 40mm as I'm sure that would be the most popular choice amongst you guys watching. Now the reason I said yes to reviewing this brand comes down to two things. First of all, the cool designs, but secondly, their claimed materials list made me think that these aren't just cheaply made fashion watches. So this watch comes with a full sandblasted stainless steel case. The crown is signed and the case back is screwed in. One big downside to this model is its pitiful 30 meters of water resistance, which on a field watch like this is very disappointing. I'm sure you've already noticed the 1 tick per second. Yes, this is only a quartz watch, but apparently the movement inside is Swiss, so I guess that's slightly better than the usual Miyota that we see inside others. Also, I'm glad to say that this watch doesn't feature a ghost date position. Again, another tick towards this being a decent watch. Maven claims that covering the dial is a flat piece of sapphire, which I was highly skeptical about, but I have tested the crystal with my diamond tester and I can confirm that it is indeed sapphire. There is lume on the hands, but it's weaker than the vodka you got for 99 pence when at a university student night. So the specs are decent. They're not amazing, but they'll do. Certainly a lot better than most fashion watch brands. But let's take a closer look at the dial. So the dial on the MUS-01 is cream in colour, with grey markers for the timekeeping. There is a pop of colour with the counterbalance on the seconds and the hour marker at the 12 o'clock being done in orange, which of course matches the colour of the strap. The main handset also features a blasted finish and rather pleasingly matches the case. Overall, I really like the design of this dial. It's a very different take on a field or aviation watch, but it looks good. As mentioned earlier, we have a 40mm case with this model. The lug-to-lug is 48mm and the watch has an 8mm thickness. The construction of the case is quite flat, so it doesn't conform to the wrist as well as other 40mm watches that I've tried in the past do, but the supplied 20mm elastic paratrooper strap is certainly very soft and comfortable, and I really like the bright orange nature of it. It also comes with matching blasted hardware. Overall, I'd say that the watch is comfortable and should work on a variety of wrist sizes. Now, before I give you my opinion on whether I think this watch is good or not, let me show you the other watch that they sent to me, and then I'll tell you my conclusion on both. So this model is the Jazz 26mm, and of course it is heavily inspired by the Cartier tank, but again, from my research, I couldn't find a tank model that has this dial design, so I think it's original. This piece again is made from stainless steel. This time it's gold plated. We see some brushing on the sides of the case, with the upper surfaces being polished. The crown on this one is heavily disappointing. It's very small, incredibly generic, and a bit of a letdown. The case back on the Jazz is only pressed down, again meaning that we only have 30 meters of water resistance. But the case back is rather pretty, having a brushed finish and a spec sheet that is presented rather elegantly. This watch also features a Swiss quartz movement, again no ghost date position, and I'm happy to report that this is a genuine two-hand movement, so you won't hear any ticking from this watch. Now apparently the strap supplied with this watch is made from Italian leather. I don't know which part of Italy this leather is sourced from, but I'm guessing it's the part where they drink red wine for breakfast, because let me tell you, this strap is bang average at best. And we do have another flat sapphire crystal covering the dial. Now my biggest complaint about this model actually comes with the hands, so let's take a closer look. This version has a green dial, the outer of which features some raised concentric circular work that frames the handset. However, how generic is that handset? Small, squared edges, completely polished, and in my opinion, they don't look good at all. I'd have much rather seen some hands with a bit of shape. They just look super generic and super cheap. The printing is done well, but there isn't much of it, so it would have been hard to mess up, to be honest. Overall, I think that the dial on this one is okay. It's certainly not as pretty as the other model, but it does the job for a dressy style watch. This one wears exactly how you'd expect this style of watch to wear, with its 26mm case, 34mm lug to lug, and 7mm thickness. It's comfortable, looks elegant, and you'd forget that you're even wearing it. The strap is crap, don't get me wrong, but it's soft so it conforms to the wrist nicely. I've recently become a big fan of this style of watch, and I think that Maven has done a good job with the dimensions and wearing experience. Okay, let's get to the part that you've been waiting for. Are these watches complete fashion garbage, or are they actually worth your time? Well, in terms of build quality, these watches feel like they're made to a good standard. They certainly don't feel like they'll fall apart after just a few months of use, so that's a good start. And with those sapphire crystals, they'll be crystal clear for years to come. The finishing of the watches is alright, but nothing amazes me with them. The quartz movements inside will likely be a sticking point for a lot of you, which I fully understand, but the watches are nice and thin, which makes up for it in my opinion. The orange strap is very good, and the matching hardware is exceptional, but the leather strap on the Jazz is average. I just think these watches are missing details. You know, those small things that really make a watch special. These are fairly good quality watches. Are they amazing? Certainly not. But I do think that you can do a lot worse. If you pop down to your local shopping mall and look at 90% of the watches that are on sale, most of them will be worse than these two watches. But it's clear that these aren't watches for enthusiasts. They are clearly aimed at young people who want a cool looking watch. And in terms of that aspect, they've done very well. If these watches were, let's say, £80, then I'd be a lot happier with them. But there's so many other options around that £150 mark that offer more in my opinion. Are they bad? No. Are they great? No. These Maven watches are just okay. They're certainly not an absolute rip-off like a lot of fashion brands. Remember to check out toptierticker.com for some cool, affordable pre-owned watches. The link is in the description. And if you liked this video and I have some more of your time, be sure to watch my video here where I go through 10 bargain alternatives to iconic luxury watches.